Okay, this is incredible. What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, I am so freaking excited to say that we've got some insane leaks for Marvel Rivals Season 3. We've got huge, massive confirmations, including the name of the season, the heroes that are going to be coming out during this season, an update to one of the heroes in terms of their actual abilities, and much more. Now, of course, guys, you know the drill. If you enjoyed today's video, scroll on down, smash that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. And without further ado, let's dive in. So yes, indeed, the folks over at XOX Leak over on Twitter dropped an insane amount of news on us for Marvel Rivals Season number 3. Of course, in usual fashion, I know that some people are going to question when it's not quote unquote from an official source, like, oh, how do you know that this is real? Well, the main reason is just the credibility of this particular user, because they've posted many a times, many different leaks, and they've turned out almost all of them to be true. So because of that, I feel like they are quite a credible source. Now, with that being established, let's dive into the actual news. So first and foremost, they go ahead and reveal the actual name of the season, which is titled Season number 3, The Abyss Awaken, which I guess does give, once again, more credibility to the fact that Season number 3 is going to be themed around Knull, just like Season number 2 was themed around Emma Frost and Ultron, kind of presenting a lot of problems to the Marvel Rivals roster. It seems like Season 3 will feature the awakening of the Abyss in the form of Knull. Now, they do go on ahead and clarify even further, saying that Season number 3 tidbits that they could share already is that we will indeed be receiving all new team-ups. Of course, that makes sense, because after all, we're going to be getting new characters, and usually when we get a new character tends to have a new team-up. But they did say team-ups, meaning plural, so that should be pretty dang exciting. In addition to that, they once again reconfirmed that stunning Venomized costumes will be available, which makes me believe that they've probably actually seen some of these costumes, because after all, I don't know why they would use the word stunning if they haven't actually seen what they look like. So that means that all of you who have been hoping and praying to see a symbiote Spider-Man, I genuinely do think that this is probably going to be the season for you, because, I mean, how could they possibly do Venomized costumes and not do symbiote Spider-Man? That would be honestly criminal. So I really hope that we will be getting the symbiote Spider-Man during Season number 3. And then in addition to that, they also confirm another exciting event that we could look forward to, which is the Sizzling Summer events, meaning multiple events to celebrate the summertime. And of course, we already know that an upcoming Marvel comic book that celebrates the swimsuit issue of Marvel will feature costumes in that comic book that will be appearing in Marvel Rivals. So I guess it does make sense that we're going to be getting some type of a summer beach or summer fest event inside of Marvel Rivals for Season number 3. And that is still not all. We also got another exciting confirmation of a free skin that we will all be able to go ahead and add to our collection. So if you are a participant of the Twitch Drops events, you'll be happy to know that a new Twitch Drop event will be beginning on July 11th, which is when Season 3 will be beginning, and will be ending on August 8th. So you're going to have just a little under a month to unlock the Will of Galacta version of Hawkeye. So similarly to all of the other Will of Galacta skins that we've gotten up until this point with the Twitch drops, this will also have a spray, a nameplate, an emote, and the Hawkeye costume to unlock, which is kind of interesting that Hawkeye, remember we got the binary arrow version of Hawkeye, and now we're getting this one as well. I almost wonder if they're trying to get people to play more Hawkeye by giving him free skins. That way people are like, oh, well, I have this new free skin, I want to give it a go. So it's an interesting strategy. It seems like he's getting a lot of free skins. And again, if you're a fan of the purple and kind of, I guess, pinkish color scheme of Will of Galacta, you'll be probably pretty stoked to add another variant, this time in the form of Hawkeye, into your collections simply for free by just simply participating in the Twitch drops. And no, that is still not all, because then comes the most exciting piece of information, and that is the following. Season number 3 will indeed feature the following 2 heroes. Jean Grey, apologies, Phoenix is what they specifically called her, and Blade. That is so freaking cool. First and foremost, I'm just glad that my prediction came true because I was really hoping that these would be the two next characters that we will be receiving. So that is definitely pretty dang exciting to hear the confirmation that in Season 3, we can expect with Season 3's drop to be probably Jean Grey or Blade, and then Season 3.5 is where the other one of those two will be debuting. So those are the two heroes that we can expect. We did get a little more clarification about both characters. So interestingly enough, XOX League says, assuming that nothing has changed, both Phoenix and Blade will be duelists, which I think that is a part that kind of makes a lot of people nervous, just in the sense that I think a lot of people feel like there's already a lot of duelists in the game, a lot of damage dealing characters. And so people constantly are saying, hey, we need more Vanguards and we need more strategists. And I kind of get that. Like, I definitely don't disagree with that point. But at the same time, I also kind of think to myself, like, look, certain characters in the Marvel universe, like, it just doesn't make sense for them to be a support or a Vanguard. And a character like Blade, I just can't see how he's not a duelist. Like, to me, he is really the epitome of a duelist character. And the fact that they've already teased him so long ago with Season 1.5, it makes sense that he would be a duelist and would debut here. By the way, we have some insanely exciting stuff with Blade to talk about in just a moment. But as far as Jean Grey, I could kind of understand the logic, especially in Phoenix form. Maybe they could come up with a way to have her be like a tank or like a Vanguard character. I kind of could see that working, you know, in terms of like the bigger scale of a Phoenix. But I guess we'll see. Like, again, we do need to see more concrete details about what the playstyle will actually be like, because I would also encourage people to not forget that a character like Ultron, for example, who is quote unquote a support character, but or strategist, I guess, but he definitely has a lot of elements of a duelist as well. So why can't we get a character that is officially a duelist but has elements of a strategist or a Vanguard? Similarly to how Mr. Fantastic, he's not purely just a damage dealing character, just a duelist. He definitely has some elements of a Vanguard. So the same could be true for a character like Jean Grey or Phoenix, where she's officially classified as a duelist, but she might exemplify some qualities of a Vanguard or a strategist character as well. So I guess just like pump the brakes and let's actually see what the kits for the characters play like before we cast judgment. And as if all that wasn't exciting enough, we then had Rivals Info over on Twitter drop some insane exciting information about the actual kit for Blade, meaning these are his actual abilities. Now, of course, again, subject to change, some of these might get adjusted, but it's still pretty dang exciting that we have actual descriptions for our abilities, because that's something that we haven't seen up until today. So what are they? Well, first and foremost, he's going to possess two primary fires. So all of us who predicted that he would have both a long range attack with his weapon of choice, whether that be a shotgun or some sort of a actual like automatic firing weapon, and the sword, we were correct, because his primary fire number one will be the Blade Chopper, which allows him to use Dracula's sword to slash in front of you, inflicting damages to enemies within your melee range. And then his secondary primary fire is going to be the hunting gun or the hunting shotgun, to allow you to fire at a long-range explosive fragmentation round that delivers a large amount of shrapnel at the point of detonation, which sounds pretty cool because it sounds like it's almost going to be kind of like a grenade launcher, almost more than just a shotgun. And then as it explodes, then the shrapnel would come out. So really excited to see how that will actually function. Then we do have his shift ability, or the shift E button, which is the step and chop ability, which is described as follows: sprint forward if wielding a gun, shoot an enemy and apply to reduce healing. If wielding a sword, slash an enemy and apply to reduce movement speed, which is super cool. Because remember when I just mentioned that Jean Grey could possess some abilities of a Vanguard or maybe a strategist? This is kind of interesting in the sense that this, to a certain extent, you could say possess some support-like abilities here with Blade's shift ability, the step and chop, where you can cast essentially lowered healing and also lowered movement speed onto the enemies that you attack, depending on which of the weapons you're using. So I think that that's a really cool mechanic. Then his E ability is going to be Blood Liberation, which we knew the name of, but now we actually have information described as follows: activate Vampiric Bloodline. All blood becomes Dracula's blood. Gain stronger senses can't be healed at this time, meaning Blade cannot be healed, because some people have read this and said, oh my goodness, he's going to have anti-heal. No, from what I understand, at least the way I'm reading it and interpreting it, is that he cannot be healed during the time that you cast Blood Liberation, but you can actually go ahead and restore your own HP by dealing damage. So it's kind of like self-healing ability for Blade, which I think sounds pretty promising because it should give him a little bit more sustain in battle. And then he will also have a damage block ability. So while you're holding the sword as your primary weapon, you are then able to actually right click on the mouse. So obviously this is all applicable to the mouse. This will adjust depending on if you're on mouse and keyboard or a controller. So on the controller, this would probably be like what, the L2 button, I think, would be the right click ability. And essentially what you can do is go into a sword stance that will reduce damage in front of you. So pretty compelling. Sounds a little bit like a mixture between like a magic and maybe like Punisher to a certain extent, which sounds pretty exciting. And then of course we also do have his ultimate ability, which is described as follows. After building up your strength for a short period of time, you quickly unsheath your sword and charge forward while releasing a powerful chop, leaving Dracula's sword frantically chopping the area behind you. So that sounds pretty cool, especially if during that time you're then able to switch into your shotgun weapon and still rain down some additional damage to take down enemies. That sounds like it could be a pretty powerful ultimate altogether. So come on, that sounds pretty dang awesome. We've got all these details now for Blade's actual kit. We have confirmation of the 2 heroes that we can expect in season 3. We have the name of the season. We know that we're going to be getting a brand new map. We're going to be getting some team ups. In fact, right as I was about to wrap up this video, the folks over at XOX Leak went ahead and dropped another tidbit saying that we can expect a team up between Wolverine and Phoenix, which makes perfect sense. Obviously, with their relationship, it makes sense that they would have some type of a team up available. I can't wait till we get that Wolverine meme of him on the bed with the photo and all that as some sort of an emote in the game, because that is 100% going to happen, because they definitely lean into memes. But I am very, very extremely excited for season number 3 to arrive. Imagine all the incredible Venomized characters that we can expect. And with that being said, let me know, what is your one dream symbiote slash Venomized skin that you would love to see in season number 3? Let me know if you guys are as excited as I am for season 3 now. I thought I was kind of losing some steam as far as the hype levels for Marvel Rivals, but boy, oh boy, these reveals right here brought me right back, and I cannot wait to see what they cook up for all of us to check out in season 3 of Marvel Rivals. Thanks all for watching today's video. Like I mentioned at the top, guys, don't forget to scroll down, smash that thumbs up button. Thank you so very much for your kindness. Thank you guys so very much for your continued support. I will hopefully see you all here on the next one. Peace out. See y'all laters, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.